So I needed to make a video. I wanted to make a couple videos, talk about a few things, and working on this. Well, my plans is I'm sure that this has been said so many times, but I started to make these very lengthy in these videos, and I started talking about other subjects as well, because I'm just in hopes that somebody is abstracting the information and then taking what's useful and what's worthless. And as far as it goes with this Ableton, it's like they have three different ones. They have one that's in Ableton Live 12 Intro, which is the latest music software for this company, and they have a standard, which is the intro I purchased is $100. The standard is like $500, and the live suite live suite, which is SUITE, which is like suite. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Is like $800. So I got this because it's better for me to at least have something there, so that I can at least start learning something. Even this is, to me, in my opinion, I may not even touch this very many times throughout the entire year. Just and I may even watch a lot of videos and learn how to do this, and still want to do something else, and not really just kind of shrug it off. But it gives me the chance to understand a lot of different things in software and how they're putting software and a lot of stuff together, because we live in a highly digital world, and I think that this would be great for me to be able, instead of playing video games. I've been here for 6 months, and I feel pretty disappointed that I've only passed one test and failed one, which was only by a couple points, which was within a question or two. But other than that, I'd really like to be able to learn something new, and I'm almost positive I'm not going to get a keyboard, because this software and this program that I have right now is going to take me, I don't know anything other than dropping files. That's pretty much it. And it's going to take me a very, very long time to watch these videos, go over and over again, figure out what they're doing, because I have to figure out the structures, the counts, because I'm not really familiar with, still to this day, I believe it or not, still to this day, I don't know what the bar count is for hip hop. I just know in music and dance music, there is 8 beats, 4 sets of 8, and every 32 count, at the end of those 4 sets of 8, there's a new sound that always supposed to come in and play. Because if you listen to every record, there you'll hear either a snare, you'll hear a sample, you hear something, or maybe a volume increase on a specific instrument or sound of a particular sample that will increase, giving you the notification that is that is the 32 count. And there's also an estimation that even when you don't listen to music and you don't have a beat to follow, since I was like 15 or 16 years, I was 15 when I started DJing, like late 15, and there was a couple times I sampled, and first time I ever touched turntables was, I was about 10 years old. I was about 9 or 10. I was about 10 years old, and I was at my friend's Michael Salguero's house, who lived down the street from me, and they used to have all these parties. And some guy, and this is the only atmosphere I'd ever been in my life where there was nothing but Latins. And this was like an authentic Cuban, Latin, full Latin party. There was like 15 people over there all the time. Kids running around all over the place, a bunch of kids. The adults always stayed on the adults, playing pool, watching TV, drinking beer, and they're doing drugs or doing cocaine. I don't know if there were, but that's the first time that I ever came across turntables, and some Mexicans, Latins brought over some turntables. I was like, oh wow, and the guy was really cool, nice, and he was like, yeah man, he was like, yeah, go ahead and try out, man, because back when I was young, it was very much like a Latin thing, because they didn't bring just hip hop. It was like it was just a different types of music. Most of the stuff that they played on their speakers in the garage, which they had speakers, really expensive speakers, was all Latin music, all of it, like Tejano and a few other different type of Latin, Puerto Rican music. So I wasn't familiar with any of the names. I just know all of it was Mexican and Latin. So, but other than that, I just know that even when there isn't a sound, a particular type of beat for you to be able to follow, I've always been able to measure it. If I don't get it right on the first try, I usually always get it on the second or third try, because I can measure the sounds that even when there's nothing to follow, when something is supposed to enter. I keep shooting my foot right now, and it hurts really bad in the bottom of my heel. Remember I told you left is Jesus and all this other stuff, and it's hurting really bad. I keep violently shooting my heel, my left leg and my heel. But I've always been able to. I have been able to. I'm not trying to give myself any notification. I don't feel like a musician, and I don't feel that I was a musician. I kind of saw it as just being artistic. There wasn't anyone else that I ever thought I was ever any. A little kid, 5-year-old can be, just as the equivalent as artistic as I was. There was just nothing different. I didn't really see as I've been able to, I've been around friends trying to count beats and figure out when new sounds come in, and I noticed that they weren't able to usually pick it up. And I've been able to catch certain types of sounds, to keep shooting my foot. It's hurting like fucking hell. They're shooting the bottom of my heel right now with some sort of laser beam, and it's hurting the actual bones. It's a very pain-aching process whenever they're, and it's, that's just gonna how it heal because you got away with what they did. It's fucking crazy and torturing what they're doing to me, because I feel constantly I'm always gonna be murdered. I constantly feel, what these people did was murder to me, dispose of me, because they're just trying to get away with what they did. They can give me 40 fucking tickets, but they can't arrest and throw down a piece of shit detective and people that were around, and they throw me in jail. It's very difficult, because this is why I'm 41 years old, and all I basically know how to do is drag and drop files on a computer software. I would have been more productive, but the idea that you want me to trust an environment or trust anything is nearly impossible, because they just beat the shit out of me, because there's so much horrors and horrible things that have happened in my life and my brothers and my mothers that they just want to justify it and grant them passages. I'm already 41 years old, and they don't give a shit. They absolutely don't care. They want to make sure the White House is going to stay the White House, and the White House is just fine, dandy, good people, and that's all it is, because of President Barack Obama and George Bush. And it's aching really bad right now. They're just shooting it violently with an electronic device, waiting for them to stop, and they have the gun right now pointed at me. They have the gun right now pointed at me, and it's just following me anywhere in my body they can shoot me. They're looking at their computer screen right now, and they're figuring out where to shoot me. I'm waiting for them to. They haven't shot me in here in the last 15 seconds. So, if I can continue this conversation, Um, I just know that it's sort of easier to measure. I don't even know how they play musical instruments. I just know that I was told that guitar, you play through measures. You don't play through the same type of other instruments or DJing at all. It's measures that you use, I think. So, as far as it goes with any of this, it's going to take me a very long time. For me to try to learn something, and they're shooting me electronic devices like this and doing just burning hell to me constantly, telling me who to worship Jesus and their Jesus is your God and all this other shit. They're not going to stop, and it's very likely that I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but they're abusing the shit out of me to do as they say. And they're shooting electronic devices into my brain. And I know it sounds really crazy, but I'm sitting here like 5 days ago, and they're shooting a frequency in certain hemispheres of the brain that makes me feel like I'm having a massive stroke. Like I'm just like a stroke. Like I can feel the inside of my cranium, somebody shooting something, and the back hemisphere of the brain. And they're shooting these electronic devices senselessly when there's no topic or anything. They're training me and they're watching me nonstop. But I just think it's going to take me, even if there wasn't electronic devices, it's going to take me a very long time to learn. This is the intro, and it just takes a very, 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 very long time. I don't think in a year I'll be able to make a full track. Let's just put it that way. I don't think I'll be able to probably put a lot of stuff together, but I think it's just going to take me a very long time. Very, very, very long time. And I'm still looking forward to finish my GED and looking forward to take other classes at a college. That's what I want to do. And, take medical classes. Because I know Frankie's in the hospital or wherever he is, and whatever benefit that can do, if it's allowed. But I'm here pretty much all day. I don't go out, so I just play video games on my phone. I just ordered a new phone through Metro T-Mobile, and I now have to wait for them to deliver it. It takes like 5 days to arrive or something like that, and it's the 5G style. It's a Motorola 5G stylus phone, 2024. It's a 6.7 screen, which is significantly bigger screen than I have currently on the phone that I'm using, which is the same series. It's just they upgraded the phone, and they always upgrade a few things. They add a couple megabytes and megapixels and throw a price on there. But other than that, I bought this phone. Everybody knows the deal. They're probably stealing my shit over the mailbox and shit, and putting chips in it and all kinds of fucked up shit, and probably putting more interface, computerized things in the phone to make it more controlling and adaptable to what they want to control me to. But I am trying to learn something new. I downloaded the Splice app, so it gives me a chance to look at samples and whatnot when I'm grocery shopping or whatever, on the bus or walking. I don't ever do walking anymore, but it'll give me a chance to kind of skewer through a bunch of library of sounds and stuff to try to at least be productive. I do like the idea that if I'm able to be good enough to make a track, as soon as I get the drift of making how to put tracks together, I think I'll be pretty fast and good at it. I think, in my opinion, I will, because I naturally know how to beatbox as a kid, and I did a lot of scratching, and I DJed for like 10 years very heavily, and I think I have some decent rhythm. I don't really find myself talented, but I think it'll probably be pretty somewhat drifty. So what I'm thinking of is I can make money off of this. And the reason I can think of make money off of this is that if I can make a track, learning new software, learning the computer, then I can. I don't know how it works with record labels. I know this is so far ahead of anything, but I just know that, like, if you're good at making tracks, you get signed by a record label, and then they need you to finish certain tracks, like finish 3 tracks every 6 months, and then they put it on the internet, and then depending on how many sales you make is what percentage they get, and they usually get the record label usually gets like 50% of any profit. So the songs and tracks you look on Beatport, which Stompy.com doesn't exist anymore, all these different websites that sell music, dance, DJ music, they're all $1.99. I think $2.99 at most. So since I'm on disability, I will be able to, if I'm ever able to, I'll be able to post tracks. And if I can make an extra, in 6 months, if I can make an extra $70, which I would go for it. Yeah, $70, because, I'll be able to make an extra income learning something. The idea of this situation to me is more learning, is just learning the computer stuff. It's not so, I guess, targeted in just music, but it's like so much of this computer stuff, these different tweaking stuff, patterns and whatnot. But I'm really looking forward to see if I can make some extra money on the side where I can post it, make a track, and I won't ever be good enough to make tracks and get by a label or anything. I know that, but I think that there's certain record labels or certain ways that you could just post a track and just sell it, like on Beatport, and I don't know what they used to call it. I don't know if they're called white labels, but I think there were many years ago they were called white labels on vinyl records. And white labels were, to my understanding, were some of the best tracks or some of the worst tracks. And the reason is because people could not, they didn't get signed by a record, so it was like a private company, I think it was. I don't remember exactly how it went, but I think it was like a private company, or the person that made the track spent the money to put it on a vinyl record, and then they send it to people for fun, and not just for fun, but also because it gives the chance that someone would be able to hear it as well and be like, I'm going to sign this person as a record deal. Because the white labels, they never told you who made the track or any of that, which is very weird sometimes. I think they did. Yeah, they always did. I think they always had something written on there, but I think I remember they just didn't have anything. That's why they called them white labels, because they weren't signed to anything. And anyway, I think to my understanding that those are white labels. I don't know how it goes into the digital world now. That I think that these labels, what happens is they have probably a certain method where you can just throw a sample on there and see how it sells, and then you sort of pitch the idea, and then the way that the record label decides whether they want to sign an artist is they determine how talented they are. Because there's a lot of people, I mean, you look on YouTube, there's 1,000 people that know how to navigate through software like this like it's nothing. You see how smart they are, and they start pressing these loop snares and these frequencies. They're very smart and just navigate like it's simple, like it's just simple first grade schoolwork or something. But, they can tell whether you're talented or not. Like they can tell like by the production where it's very simple, or they can tell by the sounds and everything, because that's what they do. They just listen to records to see how talented and good it sounds, and they're producers themselves, so they'll be able to tell that whether this person is somewhat talented that they want to sign on, and then they give you a contract. And then the contract is like, you have to make a minimum of 3 records, three record tracks every 6 months. This is what we're going to pay you. This is what and it's all estimated on how well it sells, and they give you a percentage. And to my understanding, that's all business, which everybody knows record labels are all I'm not really looking at anything other than thinking I can make $70. I can make 70 extra bucks. In a 5-6 month period, and just have a track on there, just whatever. I can have an extra meal. I can buy me an extra pair of shoes. I don't, but I just know that record labels, even if it's sold a whole bunch and it's sold just a bunch of people bought the track, they have it made out so that the percentage is always going to go to the record label. It's not going to go to me. It's not going to go to other people, and that's how people get ripped off, because you get the idea that people know who your name is, they know that other record labels, will say like, oh, let's give this guy's selling really good records or whatever, and then they'll try to buy the person out. But I really don't know much of that world at all. But I think that this is just going to take me a very long time. I think I'm going to pace. I'm going to just slowly take my sips, slowly just take my time. I'm not going to be in any kind of rush so much, because I'm not a really fast learner generally. For people that don't understand, in high school, I never made more than a 50. 50 was the highest grade that I can make in high school. Believe it or not, I never made I was on probation from the age of late 15 years old till I was on my 18th birthday. And I had to report to my probation officer at the police department in Carrollton, Texas, while I was going to Newman Smith High School, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then the next week, I would report 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then the next week, I would be Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I would have to take drug tests at least once a week. And by saying this, I was trying to kind of follow this up with what I was trying to say. I made 50s. I remember bringing my report card to my probation officer, and my probation officer was calling me. I remember saying, "Are you stupid?" Or she called me stupid once, and she said, "Do you even go to school? How do you get 50s? You can't get a lower grade. Are you even there?" I go, "Yeah." And really, it makes it look like I'm just sitting there doing nothing, because I only got 50s. If someone could pull up my report card, I wish I could, because I could show everybody, but there was only 2 report card sessions I passed for my health class, and I think I got a 70 in social studies. But other than that, I failed everything. And I wasn't in athletics. I passed athletics, and I was in soccer for 6 months, I think it was, or for a year. But that was it, my freshman year. And everybody gets passing grades in athletics. But other than that, I enjoyed learning new things. I just academically wasn't the highest inclined. I enjoyed reading things and understanding things, but for some reason, I had too many problems in my life. Watching people get very sick, my mom and my dad, and I came from a very broken house. But I made 50s the entire time I was in high school. All 3 years I was there at Newman Smith before I transferred to Mary Grimes, and then finally made a few passing grades in social studies, and then I had to drop out. But I know, given the fact, I don't know much about computers and stuff like that, so I know this is going to take me a very long time. I kind of envy these people. They navigate you see them go on this. Oh, you just click here, click here, click here. Oh, look at this production, Grammy Award winner. They make it look very easy, but not that I hate them. It's just guys, people are really smart. But I just think it's going to take me at least a year before I can get anything solid on, and that's if I can continue whatever hours per week, months, and days per month that I work on trying to learn something, watching these YouTube videos, because my primary goal is just to get my GED. That is the number one thing I'm going to do. That is just what I want to do, what I'm planning to do. this to me is just junk. My GED has to come first, and because I want to be able to, take other courses. I really do. I really want to be able to learn how to make websites, learn how to other computer software that I could take. I could take a 6-week course. I can go to class and learn something about Acrobat or learn something about Windows 11 or whatever it may be. And that'll allow me once I get a GED. But I did have, when I was in Las Vegas before I got to this apartment, they told me, there was an old Mexican man, and I spoke to him for quite a while, and he told me, he goes, "Te van a quitar el disabilidad," and he said, he had a stroke like several months before I saw him, and he said that there was going to be people that were going to try to take away my disability. They were going to try to take that away, sabotage me. So obviously, I already know. I wasn't nervous or scared. They have so much control over my life. They could cut it off. My food stamps, they're entirely fully under that control. It's not an accident or investigating. They just cut me off whenever they want. So, but as far as it goes with this, I think that that goes first is for my GED, and then I just twiddle with this, and I still have 2 books to read if I can finish them or start on them. And I don't have a TV inside my apartment, so that way I can kind of, because I play a lot of the only play a lot of video games on is on my phone, and I don't play them on my computer. I don't watch porn on my computer at all. I just watch YouTube videos. So my idea of it is to be able to, the reason I used to play a few app games, I have 1 or 2 app games that I play, one game, and the reason I have so many gameplays in place is because I also need that as an investigation and evidence tool to say that I'm not crazy, that I'm still mentally functional. And these are the things that are going on in my life, because if something ever bad happens to me and somebody ever did it, it was able to start an investigation and whatever. It's the only hope I'm ever going to have, because if there's nothing left behind that I don't have, then there's nothing that I'm as worthless as the dead corpse of my sister for the President Barack Obama and George Bush's family in White House political power. I'm just worthless to the people that stole my dad's money and the work that I did. I'm worthless. I'm garbage. I ended up just like my sister, just worthless, trash, dead body for the grass. And for them to be able to make up their stories and hero stories and smiles and sunshine for them, and they tell me they say what portion gets what portion of that sunshine. So other than that, like I said, I do know that in the world of measuring music, I don't know specifically, even don't know about pianos a lot, if any. I don't know how guitars. I've never played a guitar other than pull a few strings a couple times. Other than sit in front of the piano for an hour or 2 at the ski resort when I was working there for a couple weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. Other than that, I don't know anything. I did get on Reason, which is a software Reason. It's the only software music I tried Fruity Loops for like a couple weeks. Too confusing to me, difficult. When I was 19, when I was 19, living by myself. I tried using Reason. I had a friend of mine gave me a bunch of CDs and software, and it was just as difficult as you can imagine. It was extremely difficult to make music on there. But this is supposed to be very easy, friendly, to be able to utilize and understand. I do know that every 32 counts you have the new sound, you have the breakdowns. I feel that I can map out because I DJed for a very long time, and I did a lot of scratching, and I can beatbox, and that's usually an indication that I have some sort of incline ability to understand particular sound. But I don't think I'm artistic I think anyone can be artistic. I don't consider myself in any kind of way artist or musician, musical person. It's to me, it's just, you know, if somebody's just pressing a few different key buttons on a keyboard, they're being artistic to me, and artists. They're just maybe not the degree of these experts, but I don't believe that any of that with that case with myself. It, to me, is just a learning process. But like I said, especially now I'm 41, it's going to take me a lot longer to learn, you know, to gather this information. It does help the prior knowledge of this, but you know, to twiddle around with a lot of this and to watch a lot what these guys do, not in a year. You're talking 3-4 years nonstop, at least 5 hours a day. You know, it's just a long time, but we'll see whatever I can come up. We'll see whatever I can come up with, and just put something very quick together. Maybe in, I don't know, depending on how fast I learn, in a couple of months, just slap some stuff all together, and then you know, post it. I just know that I do know that my friend Eric Quintero, who produced a few tracks, I DJ'd. He's the only person that ever booked me for DJs, and he had a very unique, pleasant musical understanding that was different than anyone I came across. And you know, because the comfort around you feel with people and what their insight is, different musical instruments and different things. They view the world a little bit different, but as far as it goes with this musical type of stuff, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something. I remember shooting an electronic device in my brain right now, but yeah, I think that be great, you know, to kind of try to pick up this stuff and learn, and that kind of influenced me, because the reason I got this Ableton is because he told me it's really good, and he tried a couple of different softwares, and he knows a lot more than stuff than I do. So I think that this would be really great for me to be able to, learn this stuff, and then if I'm ever at any point where go to his house, or I talk, you know, produce something, and he sends me some tracks, I can be like, hey, well, how do you do this, or how do you do that, you know, or whatever it may be. Well, how did you learn this, and kind of exchange the learning experience. So yeah, this is $100. Ableton, I saw a lot of good reviews specifically for dance music. A lot of house music productions was made using this. I think Cubase was one of them also, but Ableton is the best bet, is what I was told. So yeah, I'm hoping to hopefully, you know, it's too soon to talk, but I think it's just, you know, I like to be able to do all that kind of very easy navigating stuff. Copy paste, you know, do all these different stuff and make a full track. But that's what I do know. I don't even know. I know they say hip hop is like four counts, and I don't even understand any of that. But I just know in dance music, it's 8 measures. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it starts over. And then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and it starts over. It loops. And it does that 4 times. And on the third 2 count, there's always supposed to be a new sound. There's always supposed to be something of an indication that there is something. Every song and every track I have ever listened to in my life has always had that. Every track. I've never come across a track that didn't. And that's at record stores, records online. Obviously, there's different breakdowns. Like it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, breakdown, and then you get the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it continues and it loops again. And there's different samples there's different inclines and here and there, but that's the marker majors. 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. But I don't even know how hip hop or any of the musical instruments go. I know like hip hop was like 4 sets of. I don't even know. I have no idea. Um, but and I'm still don't even understand the terminology of what people say bars, because I hear people say, "Oh, 4 bars or 8 bars," and to me, it's always been very confusing. I don't understand that. Um, I just knew that I guess that I understand 8 bars, but I don't know what even that is, because even right here I have this set at 1 bar, and I don't know why. Um, but but yeah, I thought I'll make a video on this, and I can make the keyboard into a keyboard, figure that out, and I don't think I'll get a keyboard, a MIDI keyboard, which is like a little keyboard you can get for probably $60 or something. But I'm going to just try to do it with just what I have. There's too much for me to learn. I have to start from the very bottom. One thing that about the learning experience is that starting from the very bottom, you learn a lot of different things than if you start at the very top or in the mid, because I started off with like turntables. I played on a few belt driven, and when in the beginning I've tried a couple belt driven, but I had direct turntables that were Geminis, and there were direct drive, but they were like cheap rinky dinky turntables, and it's much more harder to work on those and match beats. And then when you get to techniques, you see how much easier and what a good solid tank of an instrument that is. And so you kind of get the feeling, understanding, and learn that way. So I'm starting off at Ableton. I have maybe an hour, 2 hours of working on Reason. I was 19, and that was 20 years ago. How much software changes since then? I don't have speakers, and I don't want to purchase speakers because I don't want to spend any more money, and I don't have very much money to spend if they don't stop shooting me. So they have a Guitar Center. They have these earbuds, and I could buy headphones like the regular DJ headphones. But the thing about the DJ headphones is I don't like carrying big headphones around. I don't like going and putting them in my backpack because I'm homeless all the time, traveling, sleeping at the airport, sleeping at an empty park, going to an IHOP, whatever happening and stress is going on in my life. I don't really have time or space for it. So what I plan to do and what I'm using now is using earbuds and using these, rinky-dinky $2 speakers in the laptop, and that's just to understand the dynamics and structure of the software first, and you can hear sound, and then I can put my earbuds in with their $5 earbuds at Walmart, and then that's what I'm going to learn by. So I learn everything before I spend any money. If anything, I do spend any more money, it will be just to buy a good pair of earbud headphones. And so the reason is because I may have to have that because I've already kind of messed around with this enough that I kind of get the idea that you have to be able to listen to the sound, and it becomes very difficult to see what I'm doing. So it's a physical object that I'm watching on a screen. The headphones I saw, I didn't even know they make headphones that were $700-800. Shure and like a few other companies make headphones like earbuds, and they were like, I thought the cheapest ones I saw were like $89. $89 for a piece of earbuds, and I was like, what the heck? What do they put in this thing to make it? $89. That's a lot. I paid $5 for earbuds at Walmart, and that's what I've been using the last like 10 years. But other than that, I'll probably purchase those probably before I leave here, this apartment, because I like the idea that I don't ever know what's going to happen, and I'm not counting on this. When I'm homeless and I'm out in the streets, I'll be able to go to a restaurant at IHOP or whatever it may be, and I'll be able to go to a cafe and be able to put some earphones on and I'll be able to just kind of spend my time there for an hour or two, just kind of doing that instead of wasting any more time doing something else that's probably not as productive. And it kind of keeps me, but I don't know what the likeliness of things, because the stress of things that are happening in my life are overwhelming to focus and do a lot of things. The stress is unbelievably harmful to my body and brain. Very, very harmful. And I have a lot of people and harassing me, threats, and can't eat good food, and they pull food out of the trash and then serve it to me. So I just gotta kind of go with it, and hopefully that'll be somewhat decent. But like I said, they're shooting electronic devices at me so violently all the time that there's nothing that I can do about it. Just like right now, they just shot the inside of my eyebrow, the cranium of the bones, and they do these different types of crazy psychological things, and I can feel it ache. I can feel it like somebody just like using a frequency, just hurting the bones and tissue. But like I said, I'm really not counting on this. It's a learning process. If I only work on this for 1 hour in 2 weeks, if I only work on this for 2 hours, 3 hours in 1 week, if I only work on this in 1 or 2 hours in a single month, or if I work on this for 4 hours at night, I'm not counting on any of this, and I'm not, other than just being a learning process, how to put all these sort of patterns together and, take it from there. But I think that this will give me some confidence so that when I do pass my GED, I'll be able to take different classes and feel comfortable using a computer, much more comfortable. I may not even be able to, because, like I said, the math part is extraordinarily difficult. I looked at this math, and I don't know why they didn't have any subtraction, addition, a whole bunch of those questions, or addition, but there are some pretty sophisticated questions that they were asking, in mathematics, and that's going to take me a while, and I don't particularly think that I'm going to be able to learn that on my own. But if I have to stay here for a little bit longer and break the lease, then that's probably what I'll do, but I have to finish my GED. If not, there's still a possibility that I'll pass all my GEDs except for the math. Wait until I get to Dallas and then take the final test there. But it's just too early to count. I'm being severely abused by these electronic devices. People have no idea. They just shot violently on my middle fingernail. There's just a lot of stuff that's going on. So, and nobody gives a shit. And, it's just kind of a learning process to me. I mean, to me, it's not like, I'm going to get a record deal. I know it's going to happen. Nothing at all. It's just like a learning process to me. I'm more thinking about Frankie and how they're going to psychologically fix this up. So, you think you're a record deal, huh? When Frankie gets his ass ripped open, I'm going to tell you how psychology for President, Sarah Cooper and Sarah Palin, and Kenneth, the faggots. And they're going to keep doing that. They're not. They don't give a shit. They don't give a damn. I don't think until you see how wasteful a human body, a little girl princess, was thrown away for the profitable gain of the Cooper family and the President Barack Obama and George Bush to make them look like heroes, and they're just cleaning up shit. That's my blood. That's my sister. They didn't give a shit what they did to me. I'm no different than that garbage little girl. They did exactly to me. I'm infected with HIV. That's exactly what they fuck. I got 40 fucking tickets. Am I supposed to be talking for this person? Is this my sister? Is this who this fucking is? But like I said, I got George Bush's nephew out there threatening me, acting crazy like he's going to send in a murder assassination. What they got going on. These people, they love blood. They're looking for blood. They like killing people. They think they're normal. They're not. They're crazy. And they don't want people to think, me to think they're crazy. No, that's exactly what they are. and not just crazy. They're murderers. That's what they are. They're murderers. They only use resources and dispose of. They never want people. They don't care and know how to separate how to look bad from this bad to who gets bad and who gets good and whatnot. It's all covered up. So, but yeah. So it can be a long learning process. Very, very long. All kinds of videos and explanations and all beginning tutorial stuff. Slow learning process.